Hi, I'm Daniel Smith, Southwest Regional Agronomist for the Nutrient Pest Management Program.
I'm Tony Pyrick from T&R Dairy Farm in Watertown here, farm with my brother, and also the president of Dodge County Farmers Healthy Soil, Healthy Water Group here in Watertown and the Dodge County.
Tony, last fall we were out here when you guys were planting rye into this field. What's happened since? What do you see?
Okay, this field here, we do custom planting for a dairy, McFarland Dairy here, and we plant all his covers and everything for him and do his corn planting. So last fall we were here, my son was planting the cover crops. You can see it on the video. Now this spring they came in and they put manure over the top of a green living crop, which was the cereal rye here. I think they had about 8,000 gallons an acre. They applied the manure on a living crop of cereal rye. Then we come in and plant the corn right after. There's no disturbance here. This is basically zero tillage here. And this is the first year they've had this piece of ground, so it's been completely tilled for years and years until now. Now it's going into a no-till with covers. So we're looking at dry conditions, and especially with corn, you'll need to terminate right at planting, or sometimes if you knew in advance, as dry as it was this year, we should be terminated sooner. But cereal rye is such a good cover to use, because if it does get wet, it can absorb a lot of the moisture and still get you out to plant, you know, ahead of everybody else that is doing tillage. And with the root structure underground, it makes it really, you know, a very viable cover crop to use in certain years. So with this year, we're seeing like we are, it's a little dry. This got terminated right at planting, but it's at about 35 pounds of cereal rye. So I think when you go into corn, you want to keep your rate of cereal rye, you know, on the light side. Don't go heavy. The beans can survive and use it, but the corn, you want about that 35 pounds of cereal rye planted, just enough to get a good cover and get some root structure in there. So you want to, like you say, you want to keep the living root there, keep your biology and your microbes living until the corn plant comes, and then terminate it. Bridges that gap with your microbes in the soil. When you terminate it and the corn roots start growing, I did talk to some people about that, and by terminating it ahead of it, we always worry about, you want that living root constantly. You do have the microbes in the roots, the way they decay, they do keep living for quite a while, even though you terminated your cereal rye. And then once the corn starts growing, it takes over and feeds your biology and your nutrients or your microbes in the ground again and take over. So it is kind of a bridge to keep it going. That bridge is needed to keep your microbes constantly living in your soil and doing their job, what they're supposed to do for your corn and bringing up nutrients and feeding your corn plant. But overall, it's been it's a good field. It always looks different when you got cereal rye out there. It doesn't look like it's as heavy a stand, but it'll come. It's looking nice, consistently green. I know we dug some up. There's plenty of moisture out here. I know we had this area here, we're barely about an inch of rain now since the last 2 to 3 weeks.
Absolutely. Anything else you want to add to the story, Tony?
No, we just got to keep moving forward. Nobody's got the answer out there. I mean, we're all in this together, this covers and no-till and using cover crops and cereal rye and different mixes. It's a learning process, so I know people get frustrated, but keep at it. I know it's the path we got to do, we'll have to do. We're going to continue farming. We can't keep destroying our soil and relying on all our input costs or synthetic fertilizers, buying that. With these programs we've got going, we can reduce the P and K, because we know there's more in the soil, but we got to get it up to the plant. But we do have to supplement, so we're not, you can't just jump into it and say buy no more fertilizer. We got to work with the plan. I mean, it takes time. Don't think you can do it in 1 year. It's going to be a gradual process. You always see improvements every year, and hopefully we can reduce our input costs as we keep going year to year and showing that we don't need as much bought and synthetic fertilizers and stuff down the road. And also, to save the tillage passes and save your cost per acre out there. So
yeah, well, thanks for sharing your story with us, Tony. Thanks for providing all the great education that you do to other farmers in your neighborhood. And with that ends our Planting Green series.